All right, so I'm live again. And this is the second attempt. I did a live. It was, for me, it was miraculous, just simply miraculous. And then I went to archive it so that I could do my thing, and it disappeared. And for a moment, I was in that part of the woe is me. That part of the contrast that was kind of fuzzy and out of focus. And then I went, oh well, who am I? Who am I in my contrast? Who am I in this situation, this circumstance? I am the one that's going to try it again. So here I am. So basically, what I was talking about in my last live is about the contrast in our lives, right? And they look like a TV that has gone out of focus. Well, for me, 65 years, solar, around the sun kind of thing. For me, my example is black and white TV with the rabbit ears. And when the focus of the picture goes out, you take the rabbit ears and you just move them. To bring it up into 2022, you go to your settings, you find contrast, and then you move the arrow up and down, whichever way it is, to give you a better picture. And contrast in your life happens because of the choices we make. Most of the time, we are making choices based on our unconsciousness, based on the choices of our ego or our mind. Our ego or our mind is best known for being the creator for how we move through life and what we create as scenarios in our life. Okay? And normally, if we're creating unconsciously, it is the mind doing it unauthorized. Right? If you are not observing your mind, having a thought and making a choice, then it's just going to happen. And pretty much life is how it is. Now, the awakening, which is your soul calling out to you and you hearing that vibration. See, a lot of people think that our souls are broken or they're hurt or they need healing or whatever. My soul, for the gazillionth time, reminds me it is not broken. It was recalling, as we would think it's remembering. But the moment that it was lowered into my body vibrates at a lower frequency than where she came from. She came from the consciousness of God, the highest frequency there is ever. And it took some time for her to recall where she came from and who she is, and what her purpose was for taking my body as this vessel that she's going to experience life through, right? And in experiencing that life, she is experiencing it through a free will vessel. I've got a free will. Yes, we all do. We're born with one. Our choices are, do we utilize our free will based on consciousness, or do we stay unconscious to the fact that we have the greatest part of the consciousness of God in us? See, our mind doesn't want us to go there. Our mind likes being a creator. And don't get it wrong, don't go mind bashing, and don't try to, hold the mind back. All right? Because it protected us. It protected us for this survival until the soul could recall. And then it was supposed to relinquish that hold so that it could be triune with body, mind, and soul working together as a co-creator with the presence of God that's never in absence. But this body, this mind, didn't want to allow it to be released because we thought that the mind was giving us the best version of who we were or who we are, right? So we kind of stayed unconscious. We're doing things on automated, or rote, right? And we're doing it based on the perceptions that our mind is giving us. And our mind is in protect you, protect me. So therefore it's going to give us a small perception, a small box to be in. And if you're in that box, you're not growing. You're not expanding. And your soul is saying, come on, here I am. I'm remembering that I am from the consciousness of God. I am the consciousness of God. I am in your body for purpose and to give you potential to thrive in living. Right? Not to survive only, but to thrive in living. And as you thrive in living and expand, you will multiply your life, your living, the things that are in it. I've come, is what your soul says, to see, taste, feel, smell, be a part of this life that I've created. Now, the fact that we actually live in a planet that is in a dimension of duality, it's a little fun, right? Because if your soul came for it to experience creativity through you, well, it's duality. So from your unconscious, you're experiencing, you can't find the right things to do or where you fit, or creativity doesn't come easy to you. You don't know, you tried the guitar, it's not great. You tried being an artist, it's not great. You don't know where you fit in. That's the part of duality that's going to be the opposite of your creative ability that your soul is looking for or looking to feel through you. Well, and the only way that you're going to know what your soul has come to experience through you is if you meditate or pray and you ask. We're used to asking the questions that are not helpful to us, that aren't uplifting to us, that don't give us any status of being or feeling great about ourselves, right? We're used to asking questions like, in any of the contrast, in any of the choices that we've made, in any of the situations or circumstances that come from the choices that we make, we ask this, why me? And you would think that might be an uplifting question to ask, but no, it's, I'm a victim question. Why is life shitting on me? Why is life doing this to me or doing that to me? Life isn't doing it to you. If you're unconscious, you are allowing your mind free reign over what it thinks and how it thinks and what it's going to choose, and you just go with the flow. And then pretty much you get what you get. So if your mind thinks that you need to always be unhappy or anxious or dissatisfied, and you move in that direction, you move in that flow, you vibrate in that flow, that's exactly what you're going to get. But your soul has come to be your bliss. You heard that phrase, follow your bliss? Well, that's what it means, is follow your soul, because your soul knows who you are and where you came from. Before you were body, before you were physical, before you were tangible, your soul was the consciousness of God and knew everything. But what God wanted to do through soul is manifest or emerge in and as and through, or in as and through you, to feel everything that they've created, to see everything that they created, to be everything that they created. You see a tree, God is being that. And if you're not seeing it through the right contrast, then you need to tap into your soul. See, contrast is there to tell us how far left we are, or how far right we are, how far on point we are, how far away from the gifts that God has given us. it's that. And when I mean left and right, I mean left and right. If you're turning left, left. If you're turning right, right. It has nothing to do with politics. So you want to not resist your contrast. Okay, for me, I resisted for a long time, and all it did was persist. And every time it showed up a little bit stronger, a little bit more tangible, a little bit more definable, and not in a good way. So once I realized that I just had to surrender to the contrast, take those rabbit ears and say, instead of saying why me, say who am I through this contrast that's appeared, and how am I going to serve, or who do I have to serve? How do I have to serve? Where do I have to serve? Do I have to serve at all? What do I need to see that is unseen for me to be who I need to be through the contrast, through the situation, through the circumstance, through all my choices? Okay, and that's me coming at it from an awakened part. When I woke up, my soul said, hi, I'm here. Now, when I was unconscious of all those things, and I would wake up occasionally, my soul told me I sleptwalk through life for quite some time. I would wake up, I would get something, I would figure that part out, and then I would walk again in another area of my life, right? Until I just had heard the true call of my soul saying, come on, it's time to wake up all the way. All right? And everybody has a different moment when they do that. Some, they get to their lowest point, and that's when they awake and they hear the call. Right? And some are just always there, waking up each day, having that moment. Everyone is going to see it differently. Everyone is going to approach it differently. No one is exactly the same. Why? Because you're a unique individual, a unique personality. Your soul is connected to the wholeness of God that taps into you and makes you whole, but you are unique, right? So we have these choices, right? We have these choices that show up as contrast. We have these choices that show up as conflict. We have these choices that show up as feelings of hate or dislike or disapproval or judgment. We have all these. And the thing is not to resist them. And there you go, say, well, if I don't resist them, then I have to be them. No, you don't. You have to surrender to them. Surrender to them means you're saying that you see them. And you're telling your mind, I see how you're presenting them. And I'm observing you now. Your mind doesn't like to be observed. Especially if it's being your creator. It does not like to be observed. And when you say, I am conscious, I am aware, and I am observing you, my mind, your mind kind of gets quiet. And then you say, what is my next thought? And you open yourself up. You surrendered and you open yourself up to your soul to kind of say, okay, let's go in this direction. Okay, see, your mind didn't want you to go down the rabbit hole, but going down the rabbit hole isn't a bad thing. Going down the rabbit hole means you open up a whole new world, a whole new dimension for yourself, where the contrast is, you don't have to mess with the rabbit ears. It's in full, I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, it's full. And it's vibrant. Right? Now, you're not going to be this way all the time. You're going to have your moments where you're living life and you make a choice and it's not the greatest choice and you have a feeling, and then that feeling takes you into, maybe the contrast gets a little blurry, but you don't have to stay there. And I'm talking to people who are probably more aware than they were before they awoken to their calling. And even to the people who are sleepwalking, you just wake up and it becomes a lot clearer. You still have to fine tune. Every day I have to fine tune. Every day is a new day to co-create with the presence that is never in absence. And every day I get to make choices, and sometimes those choices are good choices. I forget to ask, is this for my greater good? My soul says, okay, don't worry about it. Tomorrow's a new day. Right? So your inner environment is reflective of your outer environment, and your outer environment is reflective of your inner environment. And you go, what? Some people are going, I haven't heard that yet. And then other people on my Instagram page right now are going, yep. So which do you fine tune? Which do you take the contrast and work with? Well, you work with your inner you. Right? Makes sense now, huh? You go inward, because what's happening inward is reflecting all of your outward. So if you're always constantly thinking inward that you're not worthy to have prosperity, then you're going to have lack. Right? You have to go inward, and you have to change that fine-tuning that your mind, also known as your ego, has already put into, kind of like when you set your radio. It's already set. It's already a belief that you believe about you. So now you have to go inward, and you have to change that fine-tuning. You have to change that contrast so it becomes clear that when your soul tells you you've come from the consciousness of God, and that everything you need is already taken care of. All your needs are already met. From the time you were born and your soul took possession of your body, so to speak, everything was given to you. Everything was provided for you. The universe and the laws were all provided for you. And you have to know that you're worthy. That's fine-tuning. That's tuning up the contrast. But if you're constantly fighting the contrast, if you're constantly resisting it, you can't go inward and fine-tune it. Right? And it's not easy. By no means not easy. But well worth it. Because it's every day tuning in and checking in with you, the authentic you. Because that's who your soul is. It's authentically you, ready to show up in every area of your life. Every part of your life that you're seeing, all that gray fuzz and the distorted picture, it's ready to show you, to say, follow me. I'm your bliss. I'm the vibratory field that you need to be in to tap into your authentic you and who you are, and know that you are well worth the time and the effort that God has created you for. God, it wasn't even effort. I'll take that word back. God did not create you with any effort at all. It was a thought, and here you are. Right? Yes, God, consciousness of God, had a thought, a creative thought, and here you are. Everything starts with that vibratory moment of, I think this is going to be so, and so it is. So that's what, I was just, moving through this and seeing that a lot of us, we see a lot of, or we focus on a lot of our worry. We focus on a lot of our anxiety. We label ourselves by this. Our anxiety, our lack, our envy, our selfishness. We even name give names to all our sickness, and we become that sickness. We become that mental, not to say you don't have any mental distortion, or not to say people aren't sick. It's The consciousness of God doesn't want you to label yourself as that. It is moving through you, but you are not that. You are the consciousness of God, having a human incarnation through every experience you have, and sickness and disease and unhappiness and selfishness and disdain and whatever things that come up and present themselves, they are not you. They are moving through, and you have to say, who am I through this moment? Don't resist it. Just say, I see you. Okay, thank you for presenting yourself. I see you, and who am I going to be through this situation, this circumstance, this contrast, this moment? Who am I? And your soul is going to say, you're the consciousness of God. That's who you are. You've got an arsenal of infinite possibilities. Which one are you going to choose? That's your soul. That's intent. Ask your soul what its purpose and intention is for choosing you. This perfect, great person, this delicious personality that was put on this earth to have a beautiful, wonderful life, to live life, to thrive, not just survive, to live and multiply the living. What do you want to multiply? What do you want to increase? What do you want to seek? Don't resist the contrast. Fine tune it inward. So I am thankful and grateful that I had this moment to make another live, and I am going to try to post it correctly, because I am going to go and just utilize my soul, and my soul is going to be my bliss and move me to the right method I am supposed to really use. Everyone have a blessed evening, blessed day. If it's morning somewhere where you are, have a blessed morning. If it's night where you are, sleep well.